Day 9 of G1Climax30 is in the books on this 4-day sprint that we're going to be on this week as we look forward towards Day 10 and B-Block consuming. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night. Konnichiwa to you all. My name is Noah Foster, and I am just a simple man. And welcome once again to another Simple Take and Simple Preview. In this video, I'll give you my rundown and review of today's action from Day 9, A-Block action, as well as preview and predict what's to come on Day 10, B-Block action tomorrow. We have 4 straight days of G1 Climax action. So, yay, sleep deprivation. The challenge is you go for as a true fan of professional wrestling, that you choose to go through, I might add. But with that being said, I've talked enough. Let's go ahead and get started. So, today's action, of course, opened up with our unofficial Young Lions Cup, and today's match, it featured Yuya Uemura and Gabriel Kidd. Gabriel Kidd, of course, goes into this with 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Yuya Uemura, who goes in literally with 2 wins, 3 losses. At this point, you got to imagine that Yuya Uemura, he really needed a win to really stay within the rankings, I feel like, of this run that these 3 young lions are going through. And honestly, I wasn't going to be surprised if this went to a draw. And basically, Yuya Uemura, Gabriel Kidd, they basically showed a lot of strong sound to each other. It was a short match, and Yuya Uemura, he got the win. He got the win before time was up, which kind of surprised me. And he boosts his forward now to 3 points. So it's Tsuji 3, Uemura 3, Kidd now stuck at 2. So Kidd has already put out 1 move that has finally given him his first 2 singles victories, respectively over both these young lions. But since then, he has not been able to claim another victory, and one of his results ended up in a draw. How will Gabriel Kidd bounce back from this? Will Yota Tsuji and Uemura continue their momentum going forward? And why right now do I feel like Yota Tsuji is the one with the most momentum right now going through this? But we'll have to wait and see. Good short opening sprint, which leads us now straight into G1 Climax 30 action. A-Block. And our opening bout was Shingo Takagi versus Yujiro Takahashi. Yujiro Takahashi, of course, going into this goose egg, while Shingo Takagi has 2 points. I will give Yujiro a lot of credit. He has shown a lot of strong fighting capabilities in these matches, but he just can't bring it together. Things really picked up when he basically would pull Takagi's hair to escape a headlock, and then, of course, the dragon. You don't mess with this dragon in any way whatsoever. Shingo Takagi, he will take your head off. As the match kept going, we got, of course, one of my favorite maneuvers, the Shingo combo. Which, of course, as you know, is that just back elbow strike, that pop jab, and then that lariat fall. As the match continued, though, Takagi, he was able to continue his acceleration, delivering a shoulder block to the knee, to the gut, before a big vertical suplex for a 2 count. And then net breaker basically gave Yujiro a little bit of a slow down point. Of course, he was about to get hit with Noshigami, which probably would have ended the match. Fisherman Buster, though, it did find its mark, and so did a pumping bomber by Shingo, but Yujiro, he kept on fighting back. At this point, we were towards the end of the match, and literally the ref was kind of getting a little bit off-center by Yujiro. He goes for Miami Shrine. He hits it, only gets a 2 count. Shine, by the way, not Shrine. Apologies. And then basically Takagi, he pulls off a ridiculous lariat and delivers the sliding lariat. And following this, he goes for the Lash of the Dragon attempt. Once again, though, referee comes into play by Yujiro. Yujiro, he shoves the referee and then goes for his cane in the corner. And this is the first time I've seen this. That cane gets snapped in half by Takagi's arm, followed up by a pumping bomber as the referee finally made it back up to his feet. And then literally Last of the Dragon found its mark, and Shingo Takagi wins this match. 1, 2, 3, as Yujiro's unfortunate luck and 0 run continues. Ironically, he might be, I can't remember the last time this has happened, he might actually literally be the guy in this year's G1 that ends with 0 points. Considering he has Jay White, Kota Ibushi, Jeff Cobb, and Tomohiro Ishii still to come, I can see him maybe getting lucky with Jeff Cobb, but as far as everybody else, I don't think so. He's got a few days left, but right now it's pretty much safe to say he's out of this G1, folks. He's eliminated. And Shingo Takagi, he moves up to 4 points. Pretty good back and forth match, I must say, by Yujiro, even though he used all sort of bullet technically biting the hand. But again, it was not enough to stop Rampage Dragon and Shingo Takagi. Moving on from there, we go into another Bullet Club affair as the Switchblade and block leader, Jay White, with 6 points. He takes on the Hawaiian juggernaut, Jeff Cobb, currently sits at 4 points. And you got all the classic Jay White mannerisms here, including a point where he literally just subtly teased Jeff Cobb and then, bing, and then literally he just infuriated the man. There were multiple times when Gato, he really got involved in this as well, including a double noggin knocker with Jay White. Then Gato, of course, was brought in under his own volition and thrown back outside the ring. Uses all sorts of old tricks, including holding Cobb's ankle for Jay White to regain control of the match. This match was going Jay White's way for a good portion of it, despite his more, what I thought, powerful adversary with the grappling background, who I thought had the advantage over him going in. Anyway, it really showed here as he basically grabbed the person and basically just took Jay White into a bear hug, into an overhead belly to belly, then a running backdrop following that for a 2 count. Not quite enough. With a little bit of a handful of hair grabbing, White, of course, would swing the match once again to his favor with ridiculous DDT and then sends Cobb into the corner. And then a blade buster attempt was denied from there. But following that, Cobb was able to do basically something to counter it, but then he eats a boot. And then as we continue, ridiculous Uranagi. Damn, Jay White's stronger than I thought. Plants Jeff Cobb. And Jeff Cobb, of course, he manages to get back into this. And he holds his own power with a huge spin cycle and Gashumachi moonsault. I still can't believe that point. He literally ripped him out of the corner. That is ridiculous strength. My God. As this match continued, he goes for his Tour of the Islands finisher. White, of course, he went typical White, denies the finisher, denies the crowd, lays prone on the ropes. Can't do nothing to me. Can't do nothing to me. Gato, once again, he gets a distraction in there, and that leads to a snap sleeper suplex out of nowhere by Jay White, who goes for the Blade Runner, but then that gets countered by Tour of the Islands as Gato tries to interfere again. Well, Jeff Cobb, he was much more aware. And this probably goes back to the fact that he's well aware of Jay White's games after competing against him multiple tag matches on NJPW Strong. And once again, I wonder, is Gato starting to be a defector here in Jay White's J1, as he calls it? Because once again, folks, Jay White lost. Yeah, because Gato got tossed onto Jay White, and he was taken out of condition as he tried to pull out the brass knuckles and gets a cheap shot in. Doesn't work. And then following that, he basically finally hits a Tour of the Islands, finally in this match. And Jeff Cobb, folks, has beaten the Switchblade 1, 2, 3. He goes up to 4 points while one of our 5 block leaders remains at 6. So far, no leader of the block. I must say this result was kind of surprising to me, considering this is their second G1 singles encounter. And it was definitely a different match versus last year. And now I wonder, is Gato maybe desperate at this point to put Jay White over, or is he actually costing Jay White on purpose? Is there a bigger plan in this thing? Curious to see how far Jeff Cobb does go into this. With rumor has it that NJPW did sign the guy, really wants to push this guy forward. And I wonder what the future holds for Jay White in a Bullet Club. He says it's King Switch. He says it's J1. That's 2 losses in a row. Truth be told, that did happen in the very beginning of his previous run last year, and he bounced back 6 in a row. But you wonder, this late in the G1, in his J1, can he afford these losses? It's easier, I feel like, to lose sooner than lose later and catch up. That's all I have to say about that. But I'm curious to see what's next for both these men. Which leads us into a match I was looking forward to quite a bit, but it wasn't quite the match I expected. As the King, Hasaninare, took on the Red Mega. And we renewed this rivalry from last year for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, where these two face each other at Royal Quest in a match to remember. This one, not so much. As Minoru Suzuki and Kazuchika Okada, it was more of a mat game, submissions-based game. Again, with Okada relying heavily on his money clip that he causes Ace in the Hole to win this. And it nearly cost him. In fact, when I look at this match, to sum it up, I don't think Okada won. I think Okada survived. Because in the very early going, we had a basic mat game, and literally for this previous stint that was over 30 minutes, this stint I think just broke maybe 15. The two started off very slow, navigating each other on the mat until Suzuki basically got a hammerlock on Okada, really started gaining control. And then the Rainmaker, of course, he picks the ankle of Suzuki, but the King, again, well aware, again, with his background, he escapes that as well. Okada, very frustrated. He throws elbows at Suzuki, but that was quickly overpowered, of course, because when you strike blow for blow with the king, you better bring your best or he's going to knock your ass out. And he temporarily did that. Then Suzuki continued his domination, really working out Okada's arm, clearing the hanging arm bar and really wrenching that right arm in one of the blue steel barricades around the ringside. Keeping control though, basically, Okada, he does finally pull out some momentum after a hard shiver. I guess that woke him up. And after he was dropped by his knees, he attempted the sleeper gut style power driver Minoru Suzuki did. Again, Okada tried, but not quite got there. This close, Minoru Suzuki almost put away the Rainmaker at this point, but then it was countered into a reverse neckbreaker. Okada really trying to get something over on Minoru Suzuki, scored one of his traditional drop kicks and a twisting tombstone before, this is usually the part where he would do like the Rainmaker pulls, get the wide shot. Nope, he goes straight into that money clip, that Cobra clutch. But Suzuki counters it, period. And then it's a straight arm bar on Okada's right arm, the Rainmaker arm, I might add, really wrenching that arm hard throughout this match. As this match continued, Suzuki basically got his opponent into another takedown, then a vicious rear naked choke, and literally had Okada dead to rights at this point, I felt like. However, as Okada's face was literally turning red or pink, depending on what you were looking at, Suzuki, of course, was able to counter the money clip again after Okada tried to go for it, after Okada tried to once again throw strikes the king and failed at it badly. Basically, Suzuki, he was able to hold Okada easily. He gets the snap around sleeper, goes for the gut style power driver, but somehow, again, I say he survived. Instinct alone, I have to give this. Okada finds a way to escape the attempted gut style power driver attempt, traps the legs of Minoru Suzuki for a victory roll type counter, and Okada wins with a flash pinfall. 1, 2, 3. So again, I wonder, what's it going to take to bring back the Okada we know? What's it going to take for Okada to unleash the Rainmaker? This match, he really did not feel like himself. And maybe he doesn't want to feel like himself. Maybe he wants to test himself in a different way. The bottom line is this: Minoru Suzuki had like 90% of this match, and he literally just got caught in a slip-up, which of course infuriated. It came to the point he was going all over the place, tearing apart barricades, probably was going after the masked young lions, and who knows what else. I think he left also without his belt. Then again, I don't know if he came out with his belt, because again, he is the heavyweight champion, folks. But the bottom line is this: Okada, he wins, and he basically really starts to try and pick up his G1, as now he's tied with the other black leaders at 6 points, along with Minoru Suzuki, who stays at 6 points. When I think about Okada and Suzuki, it's one of my favorite rivalries in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. With Okada winning this, I imagine he might challenge for the Neverweight title come post G1. But I have to wonder going forward, what is Okada's mindset? What's it going to take to really bring back that classic Okada that we know, that 5-star performance? I'm not seeing that here. Maybe he's taking it easier. I don't know. Okada does not seem to be in the right place mentally, in my opinion. It almost makes me wonder if Will Ospreay is the one that will do that to bring back the true Rainmaker. After all, it is the last match in both those men's G1 run. We'll have to wait and see, and that could be a deciding factor in our black winner. But with that being said, I will say this: Okada, credit where credit's due. He survived against the king. Very few men can actually say that. A win is a win. But I'm pretty sure Suzuki is just going to unleash hell on his next opponent for this too. So whoever's facing Suzuki next, good luck to you. Yeesh. Following that, we get, of course, our cleaning and intermission break with the fabulous music. The one that goes like this. I love that music. I can literally just, clean to that if I wanted to. It makes me want to actually, like, do stuff. And it's just like a casual, peaceful vibe, a peaceful vibe. Anyway, we come back from the intermission, where the show seemed like it's going by pretty fast. Boy, did action pick up in these last 3 matches. Good Lord. Or last 2, actually, because, yeah, I guess the Suzuki and Okada match was after the intermission break, now that I think about it. But based on what I saw, it felt like to me it should have been before it. This whole card felt weird from a booking standpoint, because the match we're going to talk about right now is not the next match. It's the match that was the main event, but I felt like it shouldn't have been. Because despite what we know both these men are capable of, I did not see that crazy 5-star classic I thought I was going to. It was still a good match, though. As I'm going to talk to you now about Will Ospreay versus Golden Star Kota Ibushi, a renewed match, of course, from last year's G1, as well, of course, these men's fallout from last year's Wrestle Kingdom. We both know how hungry, determined, and motivated and dynamic both these strikers, high-flying, heavyweight hybrids are. And when it comes down to it, these two, they had a slow filling out process at first in the opening minutes, each man trying to gain hold. Kota Ibushi realized who he really was in the ring with after Will Ospreay basically countered a freaking high-risk attempt out of the corner and rolls through it and just lands on his feet, which is absolutely ridiculous. Things really picked up though when let's see here. Ospreay scored a flying forearm with the Sasuke special, then a reverse Bloody Sunday, got a 2 count at the 10-minute mark, not quite enough. As Ospreay continued to keep the momentum going, Ibushi came back to his feet, hitting a springboard Frankensteiner. But again, this is the moment where I'm sure people made a gif at this. Kota Ibushi's like, whoa, what the hell? And then these two basically striked into each other. And then literally, I think he wins that fluke state just for a moment, snaps with a shote, and literally harsh kicks to the head, followed by German suplex for a Bumaye attempt. Double knee scores for 2 count for Ibushi. And then big tornado Liger bomb. Ospreay literally closing in on the victory as Ospreay counters the Golden Star, but not quite enough. And this match really picks up its finale around only the 15-minute mark. I was really surprised. Ibushi, who senses the hidden blade coming for him, it misses, and then we get a sit-out last ride powerbomb for another 2 count, not quite enough, before removing his knee pad and several sets of reversals with Ospreay trying to hit an Oz cutter, gets countered in midair by a flying knee, followed by a final Kamagoye, gives Ibushi the win, and Ibushi now leads the block at 8 points, while Ospreay sits at 6. So there are 2 things I take away from this match. 1, Ospreay's monumental run has really hit a roadblock now. And 2, Kota Ibushi, who had one of the roughest starts in this G1, he really has bounced back, and really he could be the first person, in my knowledge, to win 2 G1s consecutively in a row. I feel like momentum still favors both these men here going forward, but right now the one I think you really need to watch is Kota Ibushi, because Kota Ibushi beat Kazuchika Okada. If Will Ospreay does not beat Okada, that could be the difference maker between winning and losing for Will Ospreay, and honestly for Kota Ibushi as well. Both these men, as you know, they have 4 matches left, I believe. So we're going to have to wait and see. As it looks like Kota Ibushi's next opponent is Rampage Dragon Shingo Takagi, and Ospreay's next opponent looks like it's going to be Minoru Suzuki. So those are going to be 2 very interesting matches to look forward to and watch. But let's go ahead now and talk about the match of the night for me, and the match I felt that should have made event. And then once again, why I believe you don't ever count out Taiji, win or lose. All hail the Holy Emperor. It has been the year of Taiji. I dare someone to challenge me on that. As the Stone Pit Bull, Tomohiro Ishii, renews hostilities in his own way against Taiji. Good God, what a freaking war. Of course, these two, they subtly, slowly lock up, and literally it was an exchange first of forearms, kicks, forearms, kicks, forearms, kicks. You can guess which one's doing what, as Taiji keeps kicking that damaged leg, I might add, as Ishii came here and there with a blatant target, while Ishii kept on giving forearm shivers. And basically, following that, we finally get a low kick, sending the pit bull down into the ringside steel, and then a ring hammer comes into play, because of course it did. Bonk to the skull. Ouch. The Holy Emperor continued his offense, though, and we are just at the 5-minute mark here. Both men kind of pushing each other to a point, but again, sometimes you play with the Stone Pit Bull, he's gonna bite. Ishii eventually gets up, and he wails into Taiji, landing a huge power slam and repeated corner shots, not letting Taiji go down, just literally, Red Shoes just land these men, tear into each other, as the way I want to see it. But then, of course, we have that one move that Taiji does that always puts the match in his favor, or at least slows it down. Big high kick in the corner, dropped Ishii where he stood. And then following that, Ishii tries to bounce back with an early vertical drop brainbuster, but not quite enough. Then Taiji repeats the onslaught with a knee and a hard head kick, really working the Stone Pit Bull. I swear the Stone Pit Bull's head is dent. And then wait a minute. Okay, we see what these two are bringing. The pants come off! And now we really are going to get into the next phase of this match. And then following this, Ishii resisted a power bomb, but crumpled with a huge right elbow. Imagine that, Taiji with the stiffer strike among this exchange, drops Tomohiro Ishii where he stands. Then Taiji, of course, follows up with that dangerous backdrop that put Ishii on the mat. Struggling to his feet, though, the Stone Pit Bull, who never stays down, he was able to overcome Taiji's power in the corner, followed by a ridiculous lariat turning him inside out. And both men right now, they kind of are at a standstill. And then following this, we get a Taiji with a ridiculous headbutt to his head. I swear, Tomohiro Ishii's head has a dent in it. Ishii's headbutt's got to be the toughest headbutt in the freaking professional wrestling game. And then basically, Taiji tries to answer back with another high kick, but Ishii just freaking absorbs it? What? And then following this, literally Taiji lands another elbow, though, as Ishii was coming after him like a rabid pit bull. Duh. And then a power bomb, but not enough. And Taiji seemed to be knocked for a little bit after Ishii's lariat hit him square in the face. But then basically, Red Shoes Uno, he gets, involved here in a way he doesn't want to be. Taiji takes advantage with a dreaded low blow, goes for that Gato clutch. That did give him a win 1 point during this G1 against Yujiro. Did not work against Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. Then a high angle last ride, similar to the previous one. Ishii stayed in the game at the 15-minute mark, came very, very close. Taiji, though, digging down deep as hard as he can with a German suplex out of nowhere, but then falls again to another headbutt to the Stone Pitbull as these two are just running into each other. Taiji with kicking out of a lariat, then hitting another dangerous backdrop, but it wasn't quite enough because following that, they just literally had a series of strikes and reversals that both men just ate, refused to stay down for. And then we had a Gamagiri for Ishii, but then Taiji kicked out of that, followed up by the sliding lariat, which finally set up the Holy Emperor to face the freaking vertical drop brainbuster. And Tomohiro Ishii wins this all-out war, my favorite match of the day. 1, 2, 3, and advances to 4 points, while Taiji stays at 6. Once again, when these two are in the ring, I don't care who wins or loses. I just love the fight. I feel that Taiji is brought out in his best when he's gone up against Tomohiro Ishii, because Ishii is a no-nonsense guy. And for 90% of this match, it was no nonsense. It was just literally these two men striking each other to the point they couldn't get up, yet they still chose to. And Ishii channeling that inner, whatever the hell he has, fighting mentality, just would not stop. Even after the match, it seemed like the two still wanted to fight each other. As they, I guess, some point subtly shared a face-to-face, sort of. But anyway, Tomohiro Ishii, he advances with another 2 points, while Taiji remains a secondary block leader at 6. So this was a very interesting day as we now have a definitive block leader for the A block, followed by multiple people in second place. And then, of course, we have a few with 4 points. And then, of course, we have Yujiro at 0. So the scores go like this at the end of today. Kota Ibushi leads the block with 8. Jeff Cobb with 4. Okada with 6. Ishii with 4. Ospreay with 6. Takagi with 4. Suzuki with 6. Taiji with 6. Jay White at 6. Yujiro, 0. So I have to figure about right now, again, as I stand by it, folks, my block pick to win this is freaking Taiji. And let's not forget, one of the matches coming up, and it happens to be the final match for the Golden Star, is against Taiji. I truly feel right now this block's going to come down to Kota Ibushi and Taiji. And that's all I have to say about that. But I cannot wait to see where we go from here. And again, this has been a breakout year, in my opinion, for Taiji, with some incredible performances in one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, though that's taking a bit of a back seat right now with this whole G1 run. Really great stuff, though. Anyway, that concludes today's action. Let's go ahead and look at tomorrow's action. At B Block is back in action. Tomorrow, 2:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10:30 a.m. British Standard Time. Let's go ahead and look at the card. The opening match for the Young Lions run will be, of course, Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura. Both men tied at 3, but Yota has a draw. Can the same thing happen here with a Yota match where Yota and Yuya push each other to the limit for 15 minutes, and we have another draw on our hands? I don't know. There's a possibility, but in the overall singles record, according to NJPW1972.com, it's 10 wins, 6 losses, 21 draws for Yota Tsuji against these two in singles action. And Tsuji, again, is 2 wins, 1 loss on this tour against Yuya Uemura. So right now, it stands that Yuya Uemura, he kind of needs, if nothing else, a draw. Otherwise, Yota Tsuji goes up in a 4-point deficit over the other two. And Kid is really in a hole. So with that being said, I keep thinking about Yuya Uemura, I keep thinking about his potential. I thought he was actually the one going the farthest among these 3. But I can't argue with Yota Tsuji's recent performances. And then I think about what Yuya did in that one match with Sonata, and I went to his comments just biting him in the butt. So that being said, I'm just going to say in this match, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Yota Tsuji, really pulling ahead of both Ouya and Kid at this point. Kid will be down at a 2-point deficit if either of these men get a win. I don't see a drop. I'm going with Yoda. Following that, we go on to G1 Climax action, B block, as Hiroki Goto takes on Toru Yano. Goto at 2 points, Yano at 6. Lord help us. But thankfully, his momentum was stopped in the previous G1 match. Their overall singles record is 5-5. These two are actually 50-50. It's kind of weird when you think about that. And overall, though, it's 3 matches, 1 loss in Goto's favor through previous G1s. So we all know the ridiculous run that Toru Yano has had against his competitors. We also know how hindered right now Hiroki Goto might be. But would Toru Yano actually exploit that or continue his own type of games and crazy traps? What sort of insanity is going to happen here? As much as I hate to say it, based on what happened last time, I feel like Toru Yano is going to win this because, again, literally, their matches, they don't go for a long time against each other. And in a blink of an eye, it could be over. And I do wonder what is the state of Hiroki Goto's arm. So as much as I don't want to say it, I feel like Toru Yano is going to get the better of him, even though Goto has been defeated for the last 6 years against this guy. History sometimes can surprise you. So with that, I'm just going to say that Toru Yano wins this by hook or by crook. I'm worried about Goto's health, if I'm honest with you, in that arm. Anyway, moving on from there, this is going to be really good. We have Sonata, who sits at 2 points, versus Zack Sabre Jr., who sits at 4 points. It is Sonata versus Zack Sabre Jr. You know, the last time these two encountered each other was back at Wrestle Kingdom for the British Heavyweight Championship in a classic technical bout where Sonata lost as Tiger Hattori counted his shoulders down on the mat after a double leg Nelson European clutch. Fast forward a little bit, you look at last year's G1, these two have shared victories and losses. But when it comes to G1, Zack Sabre Jr. has not beaten Sonata in it in their 2 previous encounters. Their overall singles record is 3-2, though, in Zack Sabre Jr.'s favor. With that being said, I look at Sonata and I keep thinking, he finally got his first win. Can he continue that momentum? But I look at Zack Sabre Jr. and I think about, he was kind of a crowd favorite against Evil. You wonder if the crowd's warming up to Zack Sabre Jr. You wonder if Zack Sabre Jr. still wants to push himself as hard as he can in this G1, or does he want to elevate the tag team titles? Is that clouding his judgment? With that being said, I look at both these men. I think about both their backgrounds. I think about how textile and versatile they both are. And last time these two duked it out again, Zack Sabre Jr. got the best of him. But this is the G1. This is a different standard. And with that being said, thinking about Sonata finally getting his first win after 3 consecutive losses, I'm going to go with the JY formula last year. And I think Sonata is going to pull it out here some way, somehow. It might be just something as simple as a clutch. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going with Sonata for the win. There goes my dog. Following that, we go into a very interesting match as Juice Robinson, the flamboyant one, leading 6 points in this block, one of the block leaders, takes on Evil, who has currently 4 points. In their previous encounters, though, it is 2-0 in Evil's favor, including a previous G1 encounter. But this is a different Evil, and this seems like a very different Juice Robinson to me, and I'm just glad he broke the Toru Yano formula. So I look at both these men. I think about their previous match. Okay, it was 2017 that these two last faced each other in a G1, and Evil, of course, won that match. But Juice Robinson, he really has gained a lot of momentum during this G1. Seems to come in with renewed confidence and mindset. While Evil, he's more so relying on any means necessary to win, including Dick Togo. The last time he relied on Dick Togo, it did lead him to victory against Kenta. But the previous encounter, Yoshihashi, he almost lost. And I think about right now, Evil's run and Juice Robinson's run. If Juice Robinson gets this, he goes up to 8 points, and Evil stays at 4. Otherwise, Evil comes up as a block leader at this point and gets 2 points. He goes to 6. I look at both this match. I look at both these men. I think about how far both these two will go. I think about the no-nonsense that Juice Robinson is. So with that, I'm going to say that it's hard to bet against Evil when you got Dick Togo in the corner. I feel like Juice Robinson is going to bring a hell of a fight, but Evil's going to find a way to outsmart the rep in Juice Robinson and get the win. I'm going with Evil on this one. Dang it. Which leads us to the next match here, as once again, from last B Block Day action, it's renewed history against a great veteran, as these two duke it out. Headhunter Yoshihashi, sitting at 2 points, takes on block leader Tetsuya Naito, also with 6 points, but just lost to Sonata, stopped his momentum altogether. But history dictates 6 previous encounters. Naito has the better of Yoshihashi, including 2 previous G1 encounters. Yoshihashi coming in here with as much heart and momentum and self-confidence as he could. Again, this has been the year of Yoshihashi finally achieving a 12-year dream of ascending gold. But this is Tetsuya Naito. He is not going to be tranquilo. He is not going to be sympathetic. He is simply going to do whatever he needs to win, to continue trying to create and define his own destino towards Wrestle Kingdom. With that being said, it would be an absolute shocker if Yoshihashi beats Tetsuya Naito and literally gives him an opportunity to basically try and contend for the double gold. So with that being said, as awesome of a match that could be, I feel like right now Tetsuya Naito is going to get the best of Yoshihashi again. So I'm going to simply say that Tetsuya Naito moves up to 8 points and Yoshihashi remains at 2. Sorry, Headhunter. It should be a really good match though, but it's not the main event. Our main event, folks, is something very interesting, as these two have only met each other one other time, and it was last year's G1. In the previous encounter, one man reached out for a handshake, the other refused it. I'm pretty sure right now, neither man's going to want to shake each other's hand, but they're definitely going to do whatever it takes to win, as it's the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on Kenta, and both these men are sitting at 4 points. Again, like I said, in the previous encounter was last year's G1 when Kenta first came to New Japan Pro Wrestling to show his style of wrestling, to take over, and Kenta got the better of the ace. But we also know you should never count out the ace. This is a different Kenta, and this is a different ace. Ace trying to really prove something to himself and to everybody else. While Kenta right now, he feels like he has all the momentum in the world, holding that red certificate and being part of Bullet Club. So with that being said, what do I see happening here at the end of the night? Who do I see prevailing to be potentially secondary block leader, if not tied block leader, if my Naito pick goes wrong? I look at both these men, previous attempts. I look at both these men's career. I look at the 20-year span of the Ace versus Tanahashi. I look at the mixed run of Kenta, Hideo Itami, just Noah, WWE. Yeah, I remember that stint too. And of course, now in New Japan Pro Wrestling. This match truly could go either way. Something as simple as a victory roll or the Ace missing a high five flow and Kenta capitalizing on it, trapping him in game over or putting him to sleep. So if I were to just call out a winner and think about how far this could go, I don't see it going to a draw. I can see the case coming into play. I can see Kenta exploiting the Ace's legs, but then again, the Ace traps in a dragon screw. That's a whole different game changer too. And we know Kenta always going to have that bummed arm, and you wanted the Ace might work on that as well because he does know how to do submissions. But with that being said, oh boy. I'm going to go with Kenta puts in the Ace to sleep by dirty means. And I can see this match honestly going over 20 minutes. It's the main event. And with that being said, that's all the action to come ahead as we continue this run in the G1 to see who will be the one. So thank you so much, folks, for tuning in and listening. I'll leave you with this final thoughts from Kota Ibushi, translated by Chris Charlton. He basically said, I won on my own power. Everyone remember, last time I was in this spot, I promised I would win, and now I'm 4 up. I said before, I won't quit, I won't run away, I won't lose, I won't betray you. I will become God. That is the mission statement for Kota Ibushi this year. How about it? 4 wins. From here on out, I'll win out. Win the whole thing and become God. Don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Legit, capital G, God. I won't give up. My teeth are better too. Okay, now maybe he's really building an ego, and that could be a downfall, because probably for the fall. But Kota Ibushi, he is confident. He has a mission statement. He thinks he's going to run the gauntlet, which is the rest of G1. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, that action will pick up Wednesday. That's all I have to say for now, so thanks for tuning in. You want to know more about me? Know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. So follow me, Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation, @mfoster1916. I'm starting a Twitch channel soon too, so stay tuned for more on that. Or keep following the simple YouTube channel here, youtube.com/c/NoFoster210. I finally figured out that URL. For all things wrestling, shouts my HW family on Twitter. Primarily focuses on the G1Climax30 and JPW in general, and AEW with my series AEW Spark. There should be a new episode out later today, if not tomorrow. Apologies for the delay. Internet issues. Trying to figure out stuff here. It's been a wild, wild weekend. Anyway, you want to know more about it's in the description down below. Support NoDQ, support WrestleJoy, support Team All Elite, support Empire Wrestling. That's the heart of it, folks, too. And as always, I'd like to close. Support wrestling outlets big and small, and let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell, know the next video goes on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all my 63 of you that's been with me this fun YouTuber creator's journey. It's not laying up anytime soon as I approach my 2-year anniversary as a YouTuber too. Stay tuned for a special simple stream later this month. Upcoming content includes continued coverage on G1Climax30 day by day, AEW Spark, a live simple chat this Friday night, 7 p.m. Standard Time, and for the first time ever, I will be streaming to Twitch, probably off camera and silent, playing Fall Guys and Crash Bandicoot. Stay tuned for more on that. If you haven't joined WrestleJoy already, check us out. Play Among Us if you can. Sometimes we do it Monday night. Sometimes it happens on a weekend. But WrestleJoy is just an awesome, fun, open, positive community. If you're a wrestling fan and want to be surrounded by positive, good, genuine folks, that's the place to go to. But I'm done here for now. So until next time, take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's their guarantee. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find what fits you. And please be safe. Be cautious. Be positive. Be aware of those around you. We'll all get through this together. And I just hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Again, y'all, sayonara.